Cool. All right, guys, we're back with the phase 2 of the program, which is going to be recognizing some patterns. So once you have the basic stuff down, we need to figure out how the heck to use it, right? What do we do? How do we build these little frameworks? So essentially what I'm giving to y'all are frameworks. So I'm building the perimeter, let's say, and then together we can fill in what we want to fill in. So the very first thing that I want you to realize and recognize, and again, a lot of this are the no fluff, just basics, what'll get you 85 to 90% of the way there without worrying about anything else, right? This is it. So what we want to do is think about muscles in terms of groups. This helps with programming because essentially the number one rule for programming is going to be, is balanced. We want to maintain some form of balance. A lot of people tend to overdo the front chain of their body, the muscles that push the shoulders, the chest, and so we end up with posture problems, right? We get the forward neck, we get the rounded shoulders, or you get the imaginary lat syndrome that people do, right? They walk around like that, your big bros. So we want to be balanced. Balancing the program, keeping it safe, top 2 priorities. So I just want you to think of things in terms of 3 categories. Is this muscle group a pushing muscle, a pulling muscle, or a leg muscle? And legs can be pushing and pulling as well. Don't even worry about it right now. So things like the chest, pushing, yeah? Things like the triceps, pushing. Things like the biceps, pulling. So what muscles are being used in those 3 categories? It's going to help the framework here. And so in addition to that, we want to think, so for instance, the bench press, right, would be a pushing exercise comprised of the chest, shoulders, and triceps, and those would be your pushing muscles. Something like a row would be, if I can do it here, would be a pulling motion with the biceps, the back, right? So in addition, we want to think about things in terms of, is this a vertical motion or a horizontal motion? And this, again, is just to help keep things balanced, because essentially instead of thinking about all the hundreds of muscles you have on your body, you can just think of a few patterns and pull the exercises from those patterns and program as such. So a vertical pushing motion, shoulder press, yeah? Horizontal pushing, bench press, chest fly, things in this direction. So as long as we're getting a little bit of everything, you're looking good. So there is a website that I'm going to send y'all. It's got a list of all the exercises, a list of all the movement patterns. So eventually when you start creating things on your own, we can just pick the ones you like. I know, like, I don't recommend chest flies. Bench press is good. The seated ones are fun. It's a matter of preference at that point. There's a lot of like science-based best, but as long as the muscles are getting worked and you like them, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Again, this is all, we're just building a little frame here. So vertical, horizontal, pushing and pulling. And if we can get a few exercises of all of those in our program, we're doing good. So that aside, and I mean, this takes time, but the thing to do is to, while you're working out, just take the split second to put it in that category. I'm doing a lat pull down. This is a vertical pulling exercise. Cool. Easy. Next thing I want to talk about. With respect to diet, again, there is so much that you could do here. There's a little bit of math on this side, and to be honest, all you need is a little bit of math on your side, and you can get this done. So, tdeecalculator.net, free website, free thing. Input some of your information. For me, 28-year-old male, about 200 pounds. My daily metabolism is around 2,700 calories a day. So depending on my goals, as I said before, anywhere from 300 to 500 taking away or putting in to gain or lose. So I'd need to eat about 3,000 calories to gain some weight, 2,300 to lose. So we'll say I could probably lose a few pounds of fat right now. So I would probably do something around 2,300 calories. So Again, what are my macronutrients? How much fat should I eat? Should I do keto? Should I do this? Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it right now. There's really only one important factor that I want you to think about, and that's making sure that your protein is in line. So, easiest way to do this, and there's a lot of different studies, there's a lot of different science, there's a lot of different reasons for this or that, or how much protein you should have. I'd say it's a relatively safe bet, somewhere around 0.8 grams per 0.8%, 80% of your body weight in grams be the amount of protein that you eat. So for me, I'm about 200 pounds. I would need about 160 grams of protein. So we know, or we don't know, 4 calories per gram of protein equals about 640 calories. Again, I promise this is the only math I'm doing here. So if I subtract that from my total, we're looking at 1660 remaining calories that we need from carbohydrates and fats. As far as what your nutrients are, there are plenty other things where, do I go high fat, low fat? You got to find something that works for you. The main thing is it higher quality? If your carbohydrates are coming from rice, sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, vegetables, you can eat hundreds of carbs a day and be fine. Some people don't like that though. So this is it's sort of like, right, I did this in a minute and a half, and that's it. The real important thing to do here is to track one full day of your eating. I hate tracking. I do it in intervals. Probably a few months out of the year or something, I'm tracking my food. But you really just need to do it once. You need to get a scale. You need to get a measuring cup. You need to measure everything out, because this is going to give you an idea of what you eat during the day. And this is very, very, very vital to building that sense of intuition about it. Because if you don't know what you're eating right now, we have no way to judge it. So maybe I'm checking and I'm at 2,000. Maybe I'm eating 2,000 a day, and it's like, whoa, that's a little bit higher. I can actually eat a little more than I realized. And what I find most is that women tend to be like this. I work with a lot of women that they have this fear about eating more. And if your workouts or if you're working out a good amount and you're doing resistance training, most of the time, like for women, you're looking at around at least like 17, 18, 1900 calories. And when women actually go and track their day, they're eating like 9 to 1100. So this is important to get that idea. And if all of this just looks like, oh, I don't even want to go there, there's another website, eatthismuch.com. You plug in the daily amount you want to eat per day. So I would just put 2,300 in, and it'll ask you how many meals you're trying to eat a day. So I'd probably do 3 or 4, and it'll spit out a meal plan for you. You can even tweak the macronutrients to make sure that you're getting the amount of protein that you need. But this website is a game changer, honestly, for people who don't want to deal with a lot of stuff. It prints out, it shows you the meal, it gives you a meal plan, gives you recipes for that, even tells you the cost. So this is a very, very easy way. And if we're working together, I'll likely go over this with you, and we can kind of generate and do something that feels good. So for me, I just like to keep things simple. I have this bowl of oatmeal and protein powder and my little, it's been called trash oatmeal before because I just put a lot of stuff in there. But I do that. I have breakfast every morning. It's a good way to start. I would rather have more boring, healthy meals and then just spice things up here and there. But the majority of my food is kind of routine. So we're at a lot of information here. I just want to cover one last concept before I set you loose here. Progressive overload. Now, this is the pattern that will allow you to note your progress, as you might anticipate from the name. When you're working out, it really doesn't matter how much you do or what you do, only that you get better. This is the main thing that people can get caught up on. Oh gosh, my bench press is only this, or oh gosh, I feel like I'm not doing any weight. Whatever, you are where you are, and where you are is just fine. And you're no less valuable for being where you are or being like a beginner at this. You really aren't. Like, in fact, being a beginner tends to be okay because it allows you to be molded by someone with some expertise. And so don't worry about where you are, really. Don't worry. Just worry about getting the framework down, getting the structure down, feeling good about it, something that's a little bit enjoyable, and we'll progress. So usually I say somewhere around, can we go up in weight for a beginner, 5 pounds every week or two. So if we did 150 on bench press in 1 week, next week shoot for 155, right? Most places have 2.5 pound plates that you can throw on. So, and as long as you can do this linear progression where you're just adding weight to things for like 6 to 24 months before you even need to change your program, to be quite honest. You can get a lot out of a little here. So this gets a whole video on its own, honestly, but just for now, that's what we need to say. Don't worry about where you are, worry about getting better. And that's it. So I'm gonna set y'all loose. This is phase 2. We're gonna be on our way. If y'all are sticking with it this far, good stuff. I'll catch y'all in the next video.